Welcome back as always, guys. I hope start out here that background noise isn't too distracting for y'all. Early fall here is pretty much indistinguishable from late summer. In fact, they're pretty much one and the same. As such, I still have to have the air conditioner running wide open just to keep it even moderately below sauna levels here in the shop. So, hopefully it's not too noisy for y'all. You can hear me okay. WROL myth. I'm going to go hunting for my food. As I'm perusing around the internet, watching other videos and channels, reading stuff on forums, blog posts, etc., come across stuff that makes me think about things and ponder about things. As I have discussions with my compatriots on different things, topics come up, again, usually based off of something we've read or heard. One of the things that we've noticed is there's this thought, idea, plan amongst some people, and I'm not singling anybody out here, I'm not picking a ridicule, we're just throwing stuff out here for discussion, right? Just like if you were sitting here with another cup of this. Dang imposters. Anyway. So many people seem to think that WROL situation, crap hits the fan, long-term catastrophic event, that one of their ways of procuring food is going to be by hunting. Some people even base their firearm selection around the idea that first and foremost they're going to be hunting. Defensive use of a gun is a far distant secondary thought to it. I'm going to submit to you quite the opposite. It's my opinion and belief that you will most certainly not be hunting for food in a catastrophic, raw, shit hit the fan situation. I do not think you should be planning to do that as part of your food procurement. You need to have your food squared away, either stored or growing or whatever. Hunting it should not be a primary part of your plan. I'm going to tell you why. If you think about this, every single person out there with a bow and arrow, a gun, or anything else that might not be into preparation at all, everybody starts getting hungry. All these people that's never hunted a day in their life are going to suddenly take to the woods, and people are going to shoot anything with fur or feathers on it. What's going to happen real quick, and I mean real quick, game populations, animal populations, one of two things is going to happen to them. They are going to be rapidly decimated and wiped out, or those animals are going to leave and go somewhere where there's not hordes of people around every tree trying to kill them. And the exception to this could be if you're way out in the middle of nowhere already, continuing to hunt may be an option. In fact, it may increase a little bit for you as all those animals leave areas and go to the less populated, more out of the way boondock areas to get away from people hunting them. You may see a little uptick in the game population. But for most people, I feel pretty confident in telling you that one of those two things is going to happen. Either the animals are going to get wiped out really quick, and I mean everything. Squirrels, birds, you name it. Just think of how many possible people could be vying for that limited food source. And those same people are not going to be employing any kind of conservation techniques. They've got hungry families, and they're going to know that everybody else is trying to get food too, so they're going to try to kill as much as they can without even thinking about it, just to get as much of that food as they can for themselves. It's going to decimate the populations, and or they're going to leave. That leaves you with the second part of the problem. If you have based your firearm selection around hunting game primarily and being defensive secondarily, now you're going to be faced trying to defend yourself with weapons that are less than ideal for defending yourself. You're just getting into preparedness. My suggestion to you, and the full 3 wooden nickels that it's worth, focus on getting defensive weapons first. Another one of the arguments that I've seen along the same lines is you're going to be hunting food more than you're going to be doing anything else, because if you start going out running around getting in gunfights, that's a quick way to get killed. Well, yes it is, and anybody who's going out looking to get into gunfights is stupid to begin with. The problem that I think is going on there is you have a serious amount of normalcy bias creeping in, and people often aren't even aware that that's what's happening to them. I'm going to go on the record as saying that if it happens this bad, I don't care what you're doing or where you're at, the trouble's going to come find you. It's going to be on your door whether you're looking for it or not. That's going to be human nature. I've seen human nature personally in situations where everybody knew things were being restored, order was coming back, there was already food available, it was common knowledge, and some people were already going primal, others were on a hairline of stepping over into that crazy world. And that was when they knew things were going to be fixed. Excuse me. You put people in situations where there is no guarantee that things are going to get fixed in any relative short semblance of time, or fixed at all, they're going to lose it. The unprepared, especially, the criminal types, most certainly are going to take advantage of it. Your firearms should be focused around defense, first and foremost. Here's the flip side of that coin. If I focus my firearms around defense, if I get a good AR-15, AK, similar fighting rifle, if I get a good defensive handgun, 9mm Glock, an M&P, something like that, just the same as I can drop two-legged varmints, I can also use that gun on four-legged varmints too. Whether people like to admit it or not, you can use 5.56, 7.62 by 3.9, whatever, to take the vast majority of North American game animals. Now, we're talking white-tailed deer, turkeys, pigs, etc. You can take all those kind of animals. I know of people who have taken larger animals with smaller calibers. One in particular that comes to mind was a defensive situation against a very large four-legged predator that the person had no choice but to shoot him and come out successful with a 5.45 AK. It can be done. However, you take that 24-inch barrel hunting shotgun with 3-round magazine limit in it, or that bolt-action deer rifle, and that's all you've got because you're on a budget and that's all you can afford and you only get one gun. Now you're going to be at a serious disadvantage when it comes to defending yourself. Now, yes, any firearm is better than no firearm when it comes to defending yourself. Absolutely. What I'm talking about is if you've got the choice, if you've got the option to make a change to what you've already got, or if you're just starting out, the first two things I would buy that I would recommend to you as a preparedness person is either Glock or an M&P 9mm. There are other acceptable offerings. Those are just the two that are on the top of my list. Secondarily would be either an AR-15 or an AK variant. One of those two. Now, a third primary option, again depending on where you're at, is stepping up something like a 308, such as an M1A, an FAL, a 308 AR, the PTR 91, HK 91 type guns, any of those. The 308 is going to give you a little bit more hunting capability. Again, that's low on your priority scale because I just don't believe you're going to be doing a lot of it. It'll be more opportunistic hunting than intentional hunting. But depending on the area of the country you're in, I mean, if you're in the Midwest or something where you've got more open spaces and you need to be able to reach out a little bit further, 308 might make better sense. If you're in an area that is prone to large carnivorous predators such as bear, I mean, we've got bear here, but ours are smaller black bear. If you consider 300 to 450 pounds of teeth and claw small, but compared to, say, larger brown bears, grizzly bears, that sort of thing, a 308 as your main gun might be a better option. So keep that in mind depending on where you're at. One more thought on the hunting side. If you have to hunt because you run out of food, or whatever reason, you've got to try to take animals, I think you probably should try to supplement your stored food that you've got. But when it comes to hunting in this kind of situation, I think you're far better off using traps, snares, that sort of thing, that can actively hunt for you while you're busy doing something else. It'll be a far better use of your time and energy than you spending, half the day, an entire day, sitting out in the woods waiting to find something. You can set up some traps or snares or whatever, keep doing other things that you need to do, and then check those occasionally and use that as a way to do that. So even if you are going to hunt, I still don't think a firearm is going to be your number one way of doing it, which goes back to what I was saying. Don't focus on purchasing hunting firearms as your primary choice. Now, if you're already set, then yeah, if you want to look into get something specifically for hunting, by all means, do it. And I also want to caveat all this by saying too, 9mm handgun and one of the rifles I mentioned are my personal recommendations and choices. There are people who, for various reasons, can't use any of those. If for physical reasons or whatever, the most you can handle to shoot is a .22 long rifle, then get you a good .22 pistol and get you a semi-automatic .22 AR. There's lots of good ones out now. And use it. Again, any gun is better than no gun when it comes to defensive uses. There's a lot to be said for other combos in various situations. It may make sense for you to have a 9mm handgun like a Glock, and then a 9mm AR, or now even AK, because they've got some out, pistol type gun that takes the Glock magazines. So you've got ammo and mag compatibility between the two platforms if you're just really on a budget. The AR-AK version is going to give you better accuracy at greater distances than what the handgun will. So there's all kind of ways you can go with this as far as, you know, getting your firearm battery set up. And you don't have to have a dozen guns. I've got a lot, partly because I've been doing it for so long, partly because I get stuff to try to show you guys. I've got my couple of go-to guns that I use, but I like showing you guys options and discussing them. And again, I've been doing it for a while, so I've just kind of accumulated things over 40-something years. So I hate to slay that survival myth, at least in my opinion, but it's also the opinion of some fairly smart people that agree with me. You may do a little bit of hunting, but do not suggest that you make it your primary plan of gathering food. Definitely don't think you should be tailoring your firearms around hunting first and defense second. Flip that around, because you are far more likely to have bad guys, only they ain't going to be knocking, they'll be kicking in the door, coming to you, than you are to be out trying to hunt game with all the other starving masses that are trying to do the same thing. And again, not to beat a dead horse, but going back to that normalcy bias, I think too many people get caught up in this. Guys, this isn't going to be, no matter what different scenario you pick that causes things to go bad, once they do, it's not going to be an extended camping trip. It's not going to be an extended safari. The trouble will come finding you. Just because you're planning your firearms around a defensive scenario doesn't mean that you're planning on going out and, you know, being a one-man regulator, you know, policing the county. If you are, then we need to talk about other concerns there. But trouble's gonna come find you at some point. If you want a good idea of it, a lot of the fictional books that are out there give you a good frame of reference in the story. Again, keeping in mind they're fiction, right? But you can use those stories as references to what's going to happen. One of my favorites, it's at the top of the list, is the Going Home series by Angry American. Technically a survivalist series. If you want to see how trouble can come find you, that's a really good series to read. And I'm going to do another video on those books. I've recommended them in the past, but there's some updates going on there. Another video. So yeah, there you go. Think real hard, guys. Think real objectively, and try to do away with that normalcy bias about, you know, oh, I'll just go, hunt for my food because I've been hunting all my life and I can go out in the backyard right now and find animals. When hundreds of thousands of other people are doing the same thing, not so much. I hate to be the one to break it to you and burst that bubble, but that is what I believe to be the reality, and so do some other pretty smart people. So, give that some objective thought. As always, don't take my word for it. You've got to do what you feel is right and proper for you, just like I got to do what I believe is the correct course of action for me. So, you should always go forward with that in mind. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Keep getting after it as always, and we will ramble at you in another one.